What's going on, everyone? On this episode of Something New here in the Teak Life Basement Bar, we are trying some bourbon. Not just any bourbon, Rabbit Hole Distillery's Heigold, which is a high rye bourbon whiskey. Watch this episode. What's going on, my friends? I'm Don Ferguson, and welcome back to another kick-ass episode of Something New here in the Teak Life Basement Bar. Now, if you don't know what the Teak Life platform is by now, you must be sleeping, or you drank too much. Anyway, we talk about liquors from around the world from a consumer point of view. So if this seems to be like your thing, just hit that little Teak Life button. It's a subscribe button, so that way you don't miss any future episodes. Now, in this episode, we are trying Rabbit Hole Distillery's Heigold Bourbon Whiskey. Let's find out a little bit more about this brand while I find a Glencairn glass. Gotta have a Glencairn for bourbon. Come on, son. Alright, let's talk a little bit more about Rabbit Hole Distillery's Heigold Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Whew, that's a mouthful. So, Heigold is actually their take on a high rye Kentucky straight bourbon. And I don't know if I enjoy ryes. I mean, I kind of do, so I'm really interested to try this. This is 95 proof. It is aged a minimum of 3 years, but it's actually closer to 4 in level 3 charred American oak barrels. What's the mash bill? Knew you were going to ask it. All you bourbon heads out there, this is where it gets really good. 70% corn, 25% malted rye, and then another 5% malted barley. Distilled 100% in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. Now, if you haven't heard of Rabbit Hole before or tried it, they're not new to the game. Rabbit Hole was founded in 2012 by owner Kaveh Zamanian. Now, he's a psychologist with a passion for wine and spirits. Psychologist, yeah, you kind of got to be a little crazy to get into the spirits business. Now, while Zamanian was living in Chicago, he met a woman, later turned out to be his wife. And she was from the Louisville area, and she taught him everything there was to know about bourbon. Fell in love with both bourbon and his soon-to-be wife, and it kind of changed everything. He wanted to open up a distillery, not right away, later on, and he wanted to do his own take. He wanted to get really creative, get funky, create some different mash bills that just weren't unheard of and something different for the industry. What did she say? Well, you're taking the family down a rabbit hole. That's where you got the name. The power of a woman to talk him into creating a bourbon that is rumored to partner with mega global giant Pernod for about a cool $1 billion. That's enough talking. Let's taste. The power of a woman made Zamanian a millionaire. And some pretty damn good bourbon, from what I hear. But I found a glass, so we're going to crack this open and just get... Ooh, got that. Came out very easily. I like that. You're going to do a nice pour of this one. I've been hearing a lot of things about this, and to the point where my favorite store that I go to all the time, I was looking for some stuff to try. You know, just get some samples, and he, said, have you tried Rabbit Hole's bourbon? I said, no, I haven't. I've heard and read a lot of great things. Gotta try it. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. So he gifted me a bottle. Imagine that. I'm not going to shout him out because then everybody's going to think they get a free bottle and stuff like that. But anyway, that's kind of what happened. So we are here, we are trying, and we are looking. Oh my God, that's a beautiful color. But let's look at the bottle first. It does have a rabbit jumping down the hole, so true to the form of going down the rabbit hole. I like that. Little cute design. What's really cool about it is it's very heavy, but because of the shape of it, it's really easy to hold, and it's got a neck that you can, but it is heavy. This is weapon in Lethal Weapon 14. So let's look at color. Look at that beautiful, beautiful golden, almost like a rich Golden Grams. You all ate that cereal, right? Anyway, it's just a regal color. You're seeing the legs slowly drip down on this, and being, you know, a 95 proof, high alcohol content. Yeah, it's slow walking. It's like in a walker. Ooh, that's beautiful. Sweet, like a toasted oak. Getting some caramel, some sweetness, you know, from the corn. I would say it's a little bit dried fruit. I almost picked up, I would say, like a plum or a cherry, something like that. It's really beautiful. I don't get a lot of those alcohol vapors coming up, and there are some high proof bourbons, or, you know, Mad Dog 151. That it's just going to burn your eyelids off. It's going to singe them. This is actually eloquent. It is very evenly balanced, and it doesn't go crazy, but there's a lot of great caramel sweetness in this, and I do pick up that oak. A little bit of floral nose, but man, those tears, holy crap, those are fantastic. So I think it's time to taste. Cheers. So, very light rye, extremely light on the rye. And for this being their high version, I'm not getting a lot of rye. Just it's very subtle. It's very smooth. It's very, very refined. I'm picking up a little bit of butterscotch, and now is trailing some citrus. You know, that first one, it coats your palate. Really good. I'm picking up more of that citrus. It's almost like an orange rind, which is really interesting. A little bit of spice, so there is going to be a little bit of heat, a little bit of pepper, whatever you want to call it, whatever you refer to it. It's almost like a cinnamon, and I'm not talking like hot damn or fireball. It's not that kind of cinnamon whatsoever. That shit is gross. This is, wow, I really like this a lot already. It warms your soul. Like, I feel it just coming down. It's like touching my lungs and saying, drink more. This is actually really good. All jokes aside, almost like a little bit of ginger on the back end. I'm getting some toasted caramel, almost like some burnt maple sugar in a way. Very light, so it's not overly pronounced like a lot of other brands, where it's just overly almost synthetic. This is the real deal, folks. Wow. Wow. God, it just gets better as you go along. I'm really getting that butterscotch caramel, that char from the barrel as well. For this being a 95 proof, I want to say it's actually pretty smooth. Now, it enters the barrel at 110 proof. Rabbit Hole, if you guys want to send me a little bit of that 110 proof, I gotcha. I'd love to sample that in a gallon. Yeah, this is just really good. This is a nice sipper. If you are a cigar, lover, I think this would do fantastic paired with a cigar. For me, I'm just a sipper. Give me nice scenery, a nice bottle, a heavy bottle, and just leave me alone with some music, and I'm good to go. This is just, really, it lives up to everything that I've heard about it, everything that I've read. Teak Life approved? Yeah, 159%. I don't know where the 59 came from, but it's really good. I think this is going to be something that is going to be a permanent staple here. I'm just really digging it, and as you can see, I just keep sipping and talking. Now, as you can see, it was a heavy pour. I got a little bit left. I'm just going to sip. I'm going to savor this, but that wraps up another episode of Something New here in the Teak Life Basement Bar. Rabbit Hole Distillery, Heigold, High Rye Bourbon Whiskey, 100% Teak Life approved. Great depth, great character. It's bold, a little spicy on the back end, but it's got some tremendous flavors going into it. Make sure to subscribe to the Teak Life YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and if there's anything that you think we should be talking about, that's that email. Use it. If you don't know how to use email by now, you're probably not watching this program. That's it. I'm out of here. Stay tuned for the Teak Life Truth. It's going to be fun. I'm going to sip. Welcome. We just tried some bourbon from Rabbit Hole Distillery, so I think it's only on point to talk a little bit more about bourbon. So 95% of the world's bourbon comes from Kentucky. Did you know that? Now, not all bourbons come from Kentucky. It doesn't have to be Kentucky in order to make bourbon. I've tried some bourbon from Wyoming. That was fantastic. Some Michigan bourbons. But Kentucky is the place for authentic bourbon. Now, going deeper a little bit about bourbon, in 1964, Congress declared bourbon an indigenous product of the United States. That means that no other country can make a product and call it bourbon. Bourbon is also America's official native spirit. Now in 2012, the KDA created the Kentucky Bourbon Trailcraft Tour to complement the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experience. What is the Bourbon Trail Experience? Well, it's where it houses 38 distilleries, and some of them are up to 70 miles apart. That's a lot of staggering in between distilleries. Don't drive. That is not legal, even in Kentucky. Now, in the last 5 years, over 2.5 million people have visited the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experience to learn all about bourbon, but really, they just want to drink, because that's what we do here in America. Anyway, that's a Teak Life Truth. We'll see you next time. Life is too short to drink bad liquor. Choose wisely, friends. See ya.